Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Partaya Pradibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Vratavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayini Ambatvamanusantadhami Bhagavad-Gita Bhavatveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthitatadhyatena manasa Mashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam na vidussura suraganaha Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Verse 15 onwards. Together. Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi niyatamanasah shantim nirvana paramam matsamstamadhigacchati natyashnatastu yogosti nachaikantamanashnatah nachati swapnashilasya Jagrato naiva charjuna Yuktahara viharasya Yukta chetasya karmasu Yukta swapnavabodhasya Yogo bhavati dukkha Yata viniyadam chittam Atmanyevavatishtade Nispraha sarva kamebhyah Yukta ityucchate tada. All of you have books. If you don't have, where is our book coordinator there? Not here. You will be given books. Just have a go and look at a glance of everybody has book or not. Not from there. Just wander around. Make sure that if you don't have, pick it up from the neighbor and keep it with you. In this verse, verse number 18, the definition of who is Yuktaha. Yuktaha means, as Gurudev writes very beautifully here, the perfectly serene individual. We all want some amount of peace in our life, but we often look for that here and there. Ask for people, come on, give me some peace. At least to your own spouse you ask that, right? Please let us have some shanti at home. Then that wife would say, that's why I told you the daughter should be named Shanti. You didn't even ask. You didn't even listen to me. It's not by keeping a name Shanti, somebody will get Shanti. Some people have the name of their house, Shanti Nirai. In India also they have this name, Shanti Nivas. One house I went recently in Chicago, they had their name, Shanti Nivas. So then I at the door, I should become this or that, or I should get more money, I should become physically healthy, everybody should be nice to me, I should have a better business. That's not the purpose and aim of this meditation. The meditation is meant for discovering the tranquility which is already within us. And therefore, what is this serenity, or what is this peace, or who is called a person of peace and serenity? So that is why it is said, yada, when chittam viniyatam, viseshena niyatam, one whose mind is completely subsided, controlled. Swamiji, that is the problem. My mind, I'm telling you, you don't know. Better I don't know. Going all over the place, never stays in one place. So there are three things that are given here. Yada viniyadam chittam. First one is, mind is completely abiding, completely quiet, and it is not absent. Please note that point. If it is absent, then you are sleeping. If the mind is not there at all, that means you are in a state of sleep, because you don't even know that you are sleeping. There's no awareness of yourself. And if I ask you, are you sleeping? And if you say yes, then you are not sleeping. Your mind should be completely absent. But here in meditation, it is not absent. It is subsided, quiet, silent, not troubling, not agitating, not disturbing, not raising up, not excited, quiet. Yada viniyadam chittam. Second thing is, it has to abide in the self. Atmani eva avatishtate. Avatishtate, abides. Stay put. Where? Atmani. Self, in the self. So in the chart it is given as the pure self, which is what we really are. In that it is remaining not identified with anything else. As I said in the previous session, even in sleep you are not identified with anything. You are not seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, walking, talking. None of those physical activities going on. Nor there is the mind which is thinking, planning, or feeling. None of those mind-related emotions are there. Not even the intellect which is conceptualizing. So the usual activity of the mind is this. Whenever we are awake, either we are physically actively perceiving the world, or feeling the emotions, or thinking about thoughts. That's our usual activity. That's where our vasanas get continuously expressed. But in the state of meditation is where mind is there, meaning you are aware, but not with respect to the world. And so where is it then? It has to be somewhere. It has to be engaged in something. That's why my definition I gave in meditation is mind engaged deeply in total awareness transcending its own nature. In total awareness. Now we are aware, but we are aware only with respect to the physical body. That it is, I think AC is too much. The next fellow next to me has not even taken a shower, I can smell it. My hunger is still gone. She has given 3 idli, that is not sufficient. I still want Starbucks coffee. So some thought or the other which is going on, so we are aware of it. We are aware. But we are aware of something related to body or the mind, emotions or the feelings. Now to turn this attention of the mind away from all these things, it has to abide. It has to stay somewhere. So turning the attention away from the world of objects, emotion and thoughts and keeping it abiding in the self is the attempt in meditation. And for that the prerequisite is reduction of desire, nisprah sarvakamepita. The third, unless the enchantments, extrovertedness nature of the mind is curtailed, the mind will run after things again and again and again. You cannot forcefully stop it. Even if you forcefully stop it, it will run. When you are weak, it will again run. That's why in Kathopanishad beautifully it is said, Yastu vijnanavan bhavati. He is considered as a vijnanavan. Yastu vijnanavan bhavati yuktena manasa saha tasyendriyani vashyani sadashva iva saratehe. Beautiful example that is given there is sadashva iva saratehe. Sarati is a charioteer. In our present day example, a car driver. Saratehe sadashva iva. Sadashvaha iva. Sadashvaha means good horses. Well-trained horses. Just like a well-trained horses in the hands of a charioteer, tasya indriyani vashyani. His sense organs are under his control. How can we bring the sense organs under control? Swamiji, they are running. You cannot control one by one. Not seeing, not hearing, not tasting, not smelling, not touching. It doesn't work. Therefore it is said, Yaha tu vijnanavan bhavati yuktena manasa saha. With his mind with him. Now, which one comes first? Sense organs are to be controlled or the mind has to be controlled? You know, this is one thing which people ask this question. Swamiji, when I do not, get involved in any of these things, worldly duties and other things, will my mind be quiet? I cannot be sure. You may not do anything, but the mind can be running also. Thoughts may be there, emotions may be there, disappointments may be there, that you will be thinking about that. Okay, if I keep my mind quiet, will the sense organs be quiet? Most likely, yes. That's why we take tranquilizers. All these substances are because we are unable to control the senses by ourselves. Therefore, we need an external substance to control it. And therefore, if the mind is quiet, most likely the sense organs will be quiet. Yastu vijnanavan bhavati Yuktena, there also the word used is by Kathopanishad, Yuktena Manasasaha. With the mind well united. United with what? That is where it is. Mind will not by itself can be controlled. It requires an higher authority to do that. That is called buddhi. So why we are studying here? For what? Swamiji, today morning only I got an email. If you are not there in the Bhagavad-Gita, did you all receive it? 3 o'clock somebody said, I don't know who sent it. 3 o'clock morning. Shubha Muhurta, first email went out. Not me, don't look at me. We are dealing with intellect now. Buddhi, understand. You are all educated. You won't follow anything blindly because somebody told you. Or you'll be punished if you don't follow. You'll go to hell. It's not like that. It is not for somebody, God, to take you, look at whether your mind is with me or not. It is not that. It is the intellect which has been to be convinced. Yes, I do understand that it is my own journey. It is for my own peace. God, whether He is interested or not, I am not now involved in that. God may bless me, fine. But it is my pursuit. It is me to discover this. It is like a teacher who is teaching some math problems. Finally, when you go into the field, start working, the teacher won't come with you. You have to find out how to work on it. Similarly, life is in our hands. How we do it is depending upon how much correct understanding we have about ourselves. Not somebody else is going to dictate to us. Not the priest, not the Lord. So that is why, again, the Kathopanishad beautifully it says, Yata panchavatishtante. When the 5 sense organs, jnanani manasa saha, buddhim na vicheshtade, tamahu paramam gatim. That is considered as the highest state where the sense organs along with the mind settles down with the intellect which is not moving. Buddhim tu na vicheshtade. In other words, sense organs by themselves cannot be controlled. Even if you do that, it is temporary. Where the mind is still seeking, sense organs are just servants. Is it not? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, etc. Are they independently can act with the mind, without the mind? Without the mind wanting to see, will you be seeing? Without the mind wanting to hear, will you be hearing? Without the mind wanting to eat or taste, will the tongue will go by itself? So the mind has to take care of the sense organs. If the mind is with you, then sense organs are with you. For the mind to be with you, intellect has to be strong. Here intellect, when I mean, it is not intellectualism. It is not brainy. It is alertness. So that is what is called yukta word. The yukta word is where mind and intellect are together. Gurudev used to call it as the happy union of head and the heart. Happy wedding of the head and the heart. That is called, that such a person is called yuktaha. Yata viniyatam chittam. And such a mind, thus having been harmoniously wedded to the intellect, which alone, so again note that intellect alone is the closest principle next to the self. It is like a pool of water in which the reflection of the sun is complete. Buddho eva avabhaseta. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says in Atma Bodha, Buddho eva avabhaseda. Complete reflection of the self takes place only in that intellect, buddhi. So therefore, mind abiding in the self through the intellect. When you say I know, what do you actually mean? When you say, okay, do you know this? Yeah, I know. When you say I know, what do you mean by that? I know means I understand, I am aware of that, and I have no doubt about it. Isn't it? When sometimes people keep telling you, when you, I know, you know, you especially your children, son, you know how to, I know, because he doesn't want your lecture anymore. I know. What do you mean by I know? I know means I have no doubt about it, or I am clear about this. Doubt when it is there, it is the mind. When doubt is not there, it is intellect. When I am not sure, it is the mind. When some people live like that only. A face you look at it always looking wary. Do you plan to go there? Maybe. So you are not sure? No. Yeah, sort of. Always vague, sitting in the fence. That is in the mind. Chanchala mana. Sankalpa vikalpatmakam mana. This intellect is nischayatmika buddhi. Clear, sure, confident. Therefore, the doubting mind, oscillating mind, unclear mind should abide in intellect with conviction, doubtless. The study here or the discussion here is to become convinced. This is what is meditation is all about. So one has to have that conviction through right understanding. So when the intellect is therefore a stable platform, when the mind abides in it, intellect being the closest seat of self, it will reveal itself. When the doubting mind is not there, the intellect being firm, clear, doubtless, such an intellect eventually will reveal the self. When I say eventually, because very likely when the intellect become aware with the knowledge, it may come up with some amount of pride. I know it. That is where Bhagavan will come and hit you. What do you mean you know it? I cannot be known. In Kena Upanishad, the boy says, I know it. The teacher says, if you think you know, you don't know. Then you mean to say, I don't know? No, I don't mean that. When you intellectually know it, it remains only as an information. You have to practice. So meditation is therefore going beyond the boundaries of the intellect, but before that, sense organs have to be quietened with the help of the mind, and the mind has to abide by the intellect. Then, yes. Nisprihas sarva kamebhyaha yukta yityuchyate tata. So that's why this verse is important. A serene person is one whose mind and intellect have come together and abiding in the self after having turned away from all desires created by the mind. Yada viniyatam chittam atmannevavatishtate nisprihas sarva kamebhyaha yukta ityuchyate tada. Now, the steadiness of the intellect is not, as I said, mind is oscillating, doubting, unclear. When it abides in the intellect, the firmness of the intellect comes. Because otherwise the mind takes away the attention. like your husband watching the baseball game or basketball. The total attention. Or your son reading Harry Potter. Total attention. Or Pokemon Go. Total attention. What does it mean? No, mind is not wavering. It's only one point. You put your hand in between, it will burn. So much of attention. So when we are externally paying attention to something, it's called concentration. And when we are internally paying attention, it's called contemplation. Vichara. Vichara is contemplation. Atma vichara, when you say contemplation of the self, not concentration, contemplation. Contemplation means where you are looking at something which is not externally visible, available, perceivable, conceivable. It is within I am. So the I am, the awareness I am, is not an external physical reality. It is not about physical body. It's not about a thought. So such a yogi who is thus continuously engaging, consistently engaging in being with oneself, one's own self, the best example that Bhagavan Krishna could bring about is just like a lamp kept in a windless spot. The next verse beautifully describes that. Yata deepo nivatastah Nengate sopama smruta Yogino yata chittasya Yunjato yogamatmanah Yatha deepo nivatasto Nengate sopama smruta Yogino yata chittasya Yunjato yogamatmanah. It is not yada, it is yatha. In Sanskrit these terms are very, there is a mistake in that. Yada, it's written yatha. Yatha means as. Yada means when. No, that's a difference. Yatha, just as. Deepaha, a lamp. Not even lamp. The flame. The flame of a lamp. Nivada staha. Staha, staying. Nivada, vada ragita, where there is no wind. Windless. Yata deepaha nivatastaha. Nivatastaha deepaha. In a windless spot kept lamp, na ingade, doesn't flicker. Tada. So in the same, just as a lamp, the flame of a lamp kept in a windless spot does not flicker. Saupama, that is the best example. Upama, illustration or example. Smruta, thought of. It is thought of that just as a flame of a lamp staying steady in a windless spot. Yatachittasya yoginaha. Yatachittasya yogina, of the controlled mind of a yogi. Atmanaha yogam yunjataha. Engaging in, abiding in the self. In other words, the mind of a yogi which is completely abiding in the self is comparable only to a flame which is kept in a windless spot. So when you go home, when you keep the lamp next to the Bhagavan's form, look at it. That means there is some air somewhere. which is disturbing the flame. But if there is no air or there is no wind, so yeah, some air must be there, otherwise it won't even stay there. So when there is very minimum air that is required, there is no movement, that lamp is steady. Some people meditate on that also. Keep the lamp and keep looking at it. It is to that flame which is flickerless, especially the top part. You must look at the top. The middle may not be, or the bottom may not be, it may be steady because it's a wick is there. But the top of it, if you look at it, small vibration will be there. You cannot avoid that. It has to be there. But it won't move. Na ingate. In the same way, why this example is important is, the flame requires air, but not wind. In the same way, mind has to be aware, alert, not sleeping. At the same time, it should not have too many distractions going on, then it will not stay at all. Just like in a lamp, you require the lamp holder, the oil, the wick, and the flame. Correct? In the same way, our mind requires these ingredients. Mind is like a lamp holder. Oil is love for your own higher self or God. Wick is the intellect. Flame is attention. And the air around is the world. World of objects. If the world of objects, the thought about the world of objects is too much, the mind will not stay. If there is no oil at all, it won't stay. If there is no wick at all, forget about it. There is nothing to light. So is it not necessary that you must have a lamp holder? You need to have a ghee or the oil, and then you have to have a wick, and then the lamp is lit. Interestingly, the lamp cannot be lit by itself. Some other source of light has to come in. Either through the matchstick, or from another lamp, or nowadays, what is it? Cigarette lighter. So the inspiration has to come from the teacher or guidance from the scriptures. That is the external source through which this lamp called attention, awareness is lit. So yata, just as deepaha, the flame, nivatastaha, kept in a windless spot, na ingate, does not move, sa upama, that as an illustration, smrta is thought of, yoginaha, of the yogi, yata chittasya, of a controlled mind, yunjataha, engaging, yogam atmanaha, in the practice of meditation on the self. So why Krishna is bringing this here now? He says to Arjuna that you must have the love for the self without which it doesn't even start. Why should I spend 20 minutes or 30 minutes if at all one has to sit for meditation unless he has a love for that? Would you do anything on your own, not told by anybody else, without you taking interest in that? That's why your child is study. He doesn't have an interest or doesn't have a love for that. It's hard for him to sit down. So that develop that love, develop that kind of interest in self-growth, self-emancipation, or you call, in your spiritual awareness. And with that as the base, sharpen the intellect, understanding. Wick. And then try to get the external source of inspiration, either from the Guru or from the scriptures, which will light up that. But the practice has to be done when there is no distraction from the external attractions also. So therefore, Krishna says that this is your own endeavor. Nobody else can really do that. And once that lamp is steadily glowing there, keep pouring the oil, or best is ghee. Then the lamp will continue to be. If that lamp or oil runs out, meditation runs out. And some people do for a few days. Swamiji, I went for a meditation retreat. Great. 5 days, 6 days. But if that interest is not kept, the love for that very higher self, you call it as God or whichever name you want to call it as, it's your own being. If that constant love for that higher self is not there, it will run out. And then after that, yeah, 20 days I did that. After that, Swamiji, the regular routine started. So many other things have taken important priority, changed. Or you may be interested, but does not have the proper understanding of it. I am sitting, but what to do? Buddhi. Vic is not sharpened. Some people, when they come for ask me to do inauguration or some whatever it is, the wick is completely dipped in oil, and they keep it there. When it is fully dipped in oil, no doubt it has to dip, but the sharpness is not there. And more, Gurudev used to say, for the wick to catch fire immediately, you must put some camphor at the tip of it and make it a little dry. So when you bring the lamp, light next to it, it will be. That is called Vairagya. No doubt you must have the love for the Lord, but you must have required sufficient Vairagya. Nispruha, earlier verses said. Vairagya should be there with respect to the world. Otherwise what happens? Swamiji, I love the Lord and He loves ghee. And He loves all the sweets, Swamiji. Therefore, I also love sweets. The mind is only on sweets then. So the intellect sharp enough to catch it right away. Yata deepo nivatastah nengate sopama smrita yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogamatmanah. Atmanah yogam yunjatah. Engaging in being, abiding in the self. So when you are saying abiding in the self, what does it mean? Abidance. And if you look at it, abidance, abhay means fearless, dance means dance. Dance fearlessly. Abidance. Abidance means stay put in one place. Not deviating, not oscillating. The mind and the intellect, both of them are merged in that. So the best example that can be given again is just like in your sleep, where all other things, everything about the world, who you are, what you have done, what you have not done, none of them are of any importance at that point. What you achieved, what you could not achieve, what is tomorrow, what is not tomorrow, what is going to happen. None of those you are thinking. Then only you can sleep. In the same way, abiding in the self means I am with him or with that alone. Nothing else is of any importance because that's all belong to my individuality here. My being a husband, me being a wife, me being a daughter, me being a parent, whatever. These are all with respect to the transactional world, vyavaharika satta, or transactional reality, But I am the absolute reality who has absolutely nothing to do with, at this point, all the transactional world. This firm abidance, stay put, being with that. You can say that. You have nothing else to do. And some people ask, Swami, morning till evening, आप क्या करते क्या हैं? What do you do? I think you should come and stay with me for one day, you will know it. Anyway, so abidance in the higher self, what is attraction for it? So obviously without thinking about the result of an action, very unlikely that you will engage in that. What is it for? What do I get? So therefore Krishna, knowing that such a thought would arise in anybody's mind, he'll say, I'll tell you what you get out of this. Meaning, result of such a meditation. And what I said, you will become extremely unhappy. No, that's the opposite. If I am going to be extremely unhappy and sorrowful, I don't want to do this. So therefore you see, Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani tushyati yatro paramades chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani tushyati. Last word is the verb there, tushyati. Tushyati means extremely satisfied. Tush, tushtaha. And in some languages, when you add sam as the prefix or upasarga, it becomes happiness, santushti, santosh. Is it not in Sanskrit also that word is there? Santoshaha. In Tamil and many other languages, santosha means happy. That comes from the root word in Sanskrit. Tush means to be satisfied. Unless you are satisfied, you will not be happy. I am so unsatisfied, but I am happy. That doesn't happen. My stomach is only quarter filled, but I am happy. Satisfied. That's why somebody, after getting a proper job and then also got engaged or married, is Madhya Pradesh start showing that. Santushti. Oh, you got a wife who cooks well also. Santushti. Prosperity is seen in the middle of that. Santosh. It is in India, if you are, taking care of your body and you are thin and thin, she doesn't feed you at all. I know that she doesn't know how to cook. That's not the point. I am actually doing exercise. Who asked you to do all these things? Khao, piyo, mo judao. Kana pina sona. Picasso it's called. Pina kana sona. Many people think that is what his life is all about. Santushti is santosha, contentment. So tushyati, he is completely content, he enjoys. Where does he enjoy? Atmani tushyati, come from behind. Last word is Atmani tushyati, in oneself. He is satisfied with oneself. Oh, you are satisfied with yourself? Yes. When and how? Pashyan, seeing, while seeing. Pashyan atmani tushyati. Seeing what? Atmana Atmanam Pashyan. Seeing oneself in oneself. Krishna uses very carefully those words. Presently, it's interesting. Without the iPhone 7, Swami, there is no joy at all. Samsung 7. Why? We see ourselves in something else. If I have this, I will be happy. If I go there, I will be happy. If I eat this. Meaning, you are not with yourself now. My happiness, my being is always with respect to something else. Only time when you are happy with yourself is when you are standing in front of the mirror. Why nobody is enjoying my beauty? So, even in that mirror only you are looking at. Physical body is what you are identifying with. So, Atmani eva Atmanam Pashyan. Atmanam oneself. Atmani eva Pashyan. Seeing oneself in the self, meaning as the self alone. I am the pure self, nothing else. In this way, Pashyan, seeing, and he is satisfied with that being I am. Presently, my being is becoming only. If I become that, if I get this, if I don't, if I get that, so my happiness is always postponed. Are you happy? Sort of. If only I get that, I'll be more happy. If only that happens, I'll be more happy. So at the present moment, I'm not satisfied with myself. I'm always, with respect to something else, I am proposing to be happy. But unfortunately, a strange thing is, ironic is, when you ask somebody, do you want to be happy today or tomorrow? What is your answer? Maybe day after tomorrow. Is that your answer? When do you want to be happy? In another 5 minutes? Now. But what do? We postpone it. So, Pashyan Atmani Tushyati. So, the meditation is therefore seeing yourself as the self. Yatro paramate chittam, yatra, where, chittam uparamate, chittam mind, uparamate remains steady, undisturbed, uparamate, yoga sevaya niruddham chittam, yoga sevaya, yoga abhyasena. By the practice of yoga, chittam niruddham, mind is stopped. Now this word, this statement is what is taken as the second sutra in Yoga Shastra. Yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. The word rud, stop. That word which Krishna has used here, where the individual is capable of stopping the mind and abiding or as remaining, seeing oneself as the self, is the highest state of bliss one can get. Joy thereafter is not decided by anything else outside. I decide, and therefore a person of such knowledge and practice is happy for no reason. Why are you laughing? Because I am happy. About what? About myself. Something wrong with me. So, if people are happy also, you are not. So, I read somewhere. Please, I read only. I do not, it's not my personal experience. Disclaimer I have put here now. If you want your husband's attention, look sad. If you want your wife's attention, look happy. Generally, when you come back from office, what's wrong? New secretary. Why are you happy? Whereas if you want your husband's attention, oh, what happened? If you are happy, he's not. He's generally happy. So, but you look sad, then husband is worried. But if you want your husband's attention, why are you happy? Without me? Anyway, disclaimer. Huh? Put a disclaimer there. So where an individual has found happiness within oneself, yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya. So such an individual, yatra cha eva atmanam atmani pashyan atmanyeva tishtati. So this self-satisfaction, finding oneself complete, finding one's own joy in oneself, which is referred as happiness, bliss, in other words, anand. It is not sukham, it is anand. Interestingly, the word ananda in Sanskrit does not have opposite. Sukha has got dukkha. Sukham, dukkham. But ananda, there is no opposite. Anananda is not there. Anananda is not. Anand. Anandati. Delights himself. So this is the end result of such a meditation. And Krishna states this so that one takes interest. Okay, now I told you what that joy is all about. This is the result of that meditation. So when does it happen? Chittam uparamate. When the mind has become quietened due to the practice of stopping the mind. Now, what is the stopping of the mind? Gurudeva has many places given this clear instruction. The mind is like a running river. Waters make a river. Water makes a river. Just like that, the thoughts make the mind. Unless we reduce the momentum of thought, mind cannot be stopped. To reduce the momentum of thoughts, we must first of all regulate the thoughts. Regulating the thought means just taking them or directing them to one direction. And reducing the number, which means focusing on one thing. If the focus is on outside thing, you will be thinking about outside things. So the focus of the thought should be within. Therefore, here Krishna takes the next step. What do we mean by stopping the mind? Is it arresting the mind with something? When people are agitated, disturbed, they take some substance or sleeping pill or anything. Nowadays they are making as official also. I was in Colorado some 2 weeks back. Everybody is so happy. And I did not know why. And later on I came to know. So they are trying to do it in here also. Making it official. Officially everybody has the right to be happy. Available in the local stores. So, arresting the mind is not by external some chemical substance or in drug or anything. It is intelligently handling the movement of your thoughts. So we'll see that in the next session. So that is, next 3 verses are going to be about continuation on what this bliss is all about. And then he will get into exactly how to make the mind quiet. Just a few minutes, we'll sit down. Close your eyes. Om.